So I think there's a lot of elements to this and to why it's challenging. So the first one perhaps is just that it's complicated. Obviously temperatures getting warmer is a fairly basic fact, but when you start thinking about the much more advanced implications of climate change, it does get really complicated. And our climate models agree on a certain amount in the fact that warming will happen, but there's quite a lot of divergence in exactly how much. So it becomes very complicated to communicate that uncertainty and yet still communicate the things that we are absolutely sure of. Secondly, it's political. So there are vested interests on both sides. There are lobbies that want the science to go in certain ways, and so although as academics we're independent and we are able to say, look, this is what the science shows, there are always people who argue against that. So it's obviously, and from both sides in fact, so you'll have people who have political views that it's going to be a lot worse than the scientific consensus says, and there's people who say that nothing's going to happen. So it's very hard to communicate what we do know against kind of all these different voices. Another thing that's related to that is that it's not just a case of telling people science and then showing them what the science says and then that being it. There's been a lot of research that has shown that giving people more information does not just automatically change opinions. There's a lot of deep-setted cultural, political, religious things that affect how we view any evidence that we're given. So it's not just a case of, okay, well, all we have to do is find this nugget of perfect evidence, and then the problem will be settled in the public ear. And one other thing is that how science notices change is very different to how individuals notice change. So in science, the things that we can easily get a lot of evidence for are large-scale annual average temperature, but no one notices that on the ground. The way that somebody will experience climate change will be a flood that pushes them out of their house, or a heat wave that sets off a forest fire. And that's stuff that is much harder to directly relate to climate change. And to say, yes, this heat wave was definitely because of climate change. And so because of that, there's so many issues that just make it very hard to communicate these issues.